All right, I think that should be good. So we can start our session today. So, good day, everyone. Appreciate for joining me in our webinar session on AI in Prospect CRM, practical ways to save time every day. Just a quick introduction. My name is Zira, and then I'll be guiding you through today's session. My colleague Adila is my co-host for today. So we are both onboarding consultants here at Prospect CRM for APAC. All right. So before we go ahead and jump into the session, there are a certain learning outcome from today's session. We will show you how they work in practice and walk through some of the current limitations as well. So the learning outcomes, as you can see over here, are we would like you to quickly summarize email threads to prioritize and respond more effectively, identify customer sentiment and urgency at a glance, draft and refine professional emails efficiently. You can also use Copilot to quickly retrieve answers about customers and CRM data. Stay organized and proactive with smart AI-driven notifications and task suggestions. And we also have the usual live Q&A at the end of the session today. Right. So just to let you know about a day-to-day AI in CRM. First of all, imagine you are a sales rep starting your morning as usual. You will need to follow up on the quote that you sent last week. Instead of writing the email from scratch, what you can do is you open the quote in CRM, click send email, use the AI assistant to generate a follow-up email, and complete with the quote value and contact pulled in automatically. Later, you will receive an email reply from the customer, which is saved to CRM either by the Save to CRM plugin or you save it by the auto forwarding rule, and the AI sentiment analysis kicks in, which tells you the email is, for example, negative, the customer is unhappy about the pricing, and then you can also see a summarization of their concerns without reading the email in full, which helps you with prioritizing your response as well. You will also able to filter the urgency scoring as well, and this will help with prioritization. So these are some of the examples, and let's just jump into the demo session and show you exactly how this feature works. In the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to make use of our Q&A box, and our co-host will be able to assist you on this during and by the end of our demo today. Right, so let's jump to it. Okay, for today, I am using our demo account, that's my gem, and then this will be the quote for demo today. So something similar. I think everyone is quite familiar with how the quote works. All right, so within the quote record, I'm going to click on send an email over here. This is so that we can access the email window, and just give it a second. You will see the sparkle button over here, which is called the AI assistant. Click on that, and you're going to see four tabs over here, which are Write for Me, Rephrase, Expand, and also Shorten. Just to share an example for Write for Me, so you can also type a prompt. So for example, let me just go ahead and then copy and paste the prompt. Sorry for that. 1 second. So write a follow-up email for this quote, including the net value and address the sender. Click on Generate Content. If you scroll down a bit, you can also see the output from the ones that we have already rewrite earlier on. Next one, you can also make use of the rephrase button over here. So let's just say we have already generated this particular response underneath here, and then you also like to rephrase this particular email. So what you can do is you can just type rephrase this email for me. Again, generate the content. If you see down here, the rephrase button will help you to rephrase accordingly to what you have already input in the tab earlier on. So this is something that you can generate every single time. Important thing that you will need to note is the styling. As you can see earlier on, when we first generate the email, send email, the template looks a bit different. But now, since you generated the write for me and also the rephrase button, this will also change. So the styling, example, the color, the formatting will be stripped when the AI rewrites the content. The text will come back as plain over here. So you just need to double check before you insert it back into the content of your email. But once you're happy with everything, you can go ahead and then insert content over here. So this is how it's going to look like. And also one thing worth to note as well, my apologies. For the AI email assistant, there is a quota bar it's an indicator that shows remaining quota at the bottom of the dialog over here. This will reset monthly. And then the AI assistant feature is enabled by default. So you can try it. You don't need to enable any setting. And then each write for me, rephrase, expand, or shorten, it counts as one prompt. And then for the merge field, so for example, like the contact Astra Timber over here, sometimes they may not always get populated perfectly. So always check the preview before inserting and especially before you send out to the customer. Okay, so let's just go back over here. So now I'm going to show you the AI inline enhancement. Excuse me. This is a bit different from the AI email assistant that you saw earlier. So instead of generating a whole email document, this lets you to specify a specific text within the email body. So in the same email window over here, I'm going to highlight a paragraph in the email editor. So for example, I'm highlight this part. You can see the sparkle button again over here, which is called the AI Enhance when you hover over it. So click on that. So in here, you have the options to either proofread it, or you can also rephrase it to make it friendlier or to make it sound more professional. So for example, if I just set for friendly, these are the options. If you're happy with this, you can click on accept and then it will be changed again in the setting, in the email body. So once you're happy with everything again, you can start sending it back to the customer accordingly. Right? If you do have any questions as of this part, check it over in the Q&A box. Next part, I'm going to show you our AI email sentiment analysis, which is really useful because this feature, it reads the inbound emails and which is saved into your CRM and then gives you three things. The first one, it gives you the mood, which is either the email is positive, negative, or neutral. Second, it gives you the summary, a brief AI generated summary of the email content. And then the urgency or the priority of the email, which is shown to you either one, two, or three lines, depending on the priority. So this is the example email that I have right here. So an inbound email, mind you. And then in this one, if you haven't enabled the AI sentiment analysis feature, there will be a banner appear on top of here, which you can click and try it for free. Or you can also enable this in your system settings, which I'm going to show you later on. And then once you have enabled that, if you haven't run the AI sentiment analysis for the first time, there will also be another button appearing over here asking you to analyze this particular email. So again, as what I mentioned earlier on, it will show you what is the summary of the email, for example. So this customer is asking for a price adjustment for quote as it's above their budget. So they would like to have some negotiation as well. Based on our on the AI sentiment analysis, it has analyzed that this email is neutral. However, it is on a medium priority because the customer is interested, but they just would like to negotiate the price further with you. This is the email body, by the way. Okay. So aside from this, right, there are some other use cases that we can think of. Like, for example, if a customer confirms an order via email, the sentiment shows the email as positive because they are confirming the order, they are happy with it, but the priority might be low because essentially they're happy, but there's nothing that you can do on your end. But I would suggest you can go ahead and acknowledge this email to the customer, and you can send the customer a confirmation email on their order as well. Right. Just to show you, because you might have a lot of inbound emails coming from the customer, and then how you can filter them instead of going through here one by one. So you can go ahead back over either on the company record or the contact record. I'm just going to go over to the contact record over here. So in here, we're going to have a lot of activities that happen in here. So for example, we're going to have like any problems created, opportunity created as well. But now we're only going to focus on the inbound emails. So you can click on the filter button over here. And if you did not realize that we do have this button, what this button will do is it will actually filter all of the activities that you have in CRM, especially if you have made any notes, any documents uploaded, any orders that the customer or you have already confirmed on their behalf, and also if you have created any task. So now um, you can actually filter those emails by mood levels or urgency levels. So let's just say I just wanted to filter by neutral because this is the only email that has been analyzed and both of these emails are neutral. So this is the one I have over here. And then another one I have down here as well. You can also see where this email comes from. So for the second email I have here on the 16th of April, it shows you it comes from an email under the parent issues with chair, for example. As opposed to this one, this comes from the quote that we have created for Astra Timber. Aside from that, if you like to search for by urgency level, so you just wanted to search for those that are high, so this will be the ones that we have already went through because of a problem. They have received an error from a delivery. So the AI email sentiment analysis has analyzed it this way. Um, the only way that you can see the summary is if you are in the email page itself. As for example, this one, you need to open the email first in order for you to see the summary of this particular email. But if you're only in the activity timeline, you can only filter it by mood level and urgency levels. So with AI sentiment analysis, there's a few things that you need to note. It only works on inbound emails, as I mentioned earlier on. You will need to enable it. You can go head over into your settings, system settings, and then you can search for AI sentiment analysis. I'll just search for sentiment, and then you can click enable. And then this has separate quota from AI email assistant and AI inline generator. So for the free tier that we saw earlier on, it gives you a limited number of analysis per month, which is shared across the entire CRM workspace, not per user. So if you need more, there is a paid upgrade available. Okay, so let's just talk about end-to-end workflow in CRM. So similar to what we were talking about earlier in the session today. So you are sending out a quote email. You open the quote, click send an email, and then use the AI assistant to generate a professional follow-up. It pulls the contact, for example, and then it also pulls the quote value. Depends on what prompt that you put in it. You review it, tweak it if needed, and then send to the customer. And then the customer replies back to you, and your email is saved into CRM again via Save to CRM or auto forwarding or BCC to your mailbox. The sentiment analysis kicks in, whereby it will read the inbound emails and then tells you whether they are negative, high priority, and then it gives you a summary of what the email is all about. And then you respond back to the customer. You open the email again, use the AI assistant to draft a response, addressing their concerns or any issues. You view it again, and then send it back to the customer. So that's the full loop of the AI in CRM. It helps you write, it helps you understand what comes back to you, and then what you send back over to the customer. Okay, just a few reminder as well. We just wanted to be a bit transparent about the limitations of the AI in CRM. Always double check your outputs. As any AI tools, it can produce incorrect names, example, the merge data, wrong data, or irrelevant content. You review every generation before you send to the customer. Use the right keywords. So the quality of the output depends on your prompt. You will need to be specific. So instead of entering write an email, try writing maybe follow-up email for the quote, mention the net value, delivery date, and also the contact's name. And then we need to remember that token quotas exist for the AI email assistant and the inline enhancement. As a paid user, you're going to get 1,000 prompts per user per month, which is quite generous, and it is unlikely to run out for normal use. For the sentiment analysis, the feature is much more limited, as you saw earlier on, and it is shared across the entire workspace, not per user. And whenever that you are using the AI email assistant and also the inline generator, whenever they rewrite or rephrase the content from an email template, the formatting will usually get replaced. So you're going to get a plain email text back. So you need to go ahead and then amend it accordingly if you would need to. And then again, on the merge fields as well, just remember to double check on the data that it pulls through from either quote level, contact level, or any of the relevant record in CRM, depend on the email templates that you're using. Right, so we're about to get to the end of the session for today. What's the next step that you can do now? I would urge you to try the AI email assistant. So it is already enabled in your CRM. So the next time you send an email to the customer, click the sparkle icon on the right hand side when you are in the email editor window and then give it a go. So as a paid user, again, you have 1,000 free prompts per month, plenty to experiment with. Second, enable the AI email sentiment analysis, which you can enable so from the system settings. And then you can test it on a real scenario. Try generating a quote follow-up or save an inbound customer email and then see what the to see how it works for you. And then last one, you can explore our help center. We have articles on AI email assistant, AI email sentiment analysis as well, and then pricing for upgrades as well. But for the pricing for upgrades, especially for the AI sentiment analysis, you can also find that over inside the CRM itself. So if I just go back over here, let's just go back to the email. So if you click on upgrade, you're gonna see the pricing for upgrade over inside CRM itself. So yeah, have a play around with it. It's free to try, and then the best way to understand the value is to use it in your own CRM with your own live data. Right. So it's now time for the Q&A session. Go ahead, Adila.
Okay. Thank you, Hazira, for the comprehensive session on the AI session earlier. Appreciate if we can keep those questions relevant to today's topic. For the questions that we aren't able to answer today, we'll get back to you directly to the registered email address. Okay. So we're going to give it a few seconds for the email to pour in. Okay. I've got one question here. So the user is, wants us to explain again. What does it mean by inbound emails? Okay. So like Hazura mentioned just now, basically inbound emails are the emails that you have forwarded from either your Gmail or Outlook using the Save to CRM add-in, or using the automatic forwarding which you can set up in the Outlook or Gmail settings. Okay. Right. So we've got another question related to inbound emails as well. How can we locate the inbound emails? Right. So as Hazira has mentioned before just now, so apart from viewing those inbound emails on the, for example, on the contact record, right, in the activity session, you can also view that on the documents tab. At the same time, you can also generate a report using the document report entity and then have a list of comprehensive documents there and make use of the relevant filters accordingly. Okay, like what Zira is showing you right now. Okay, do you have any more questions? Hmm. Right. No worries. So I think that's it for now. So thank you again for joining today's session and for all the questions that you have sent through just now. And thank you, Hazira, for being a great main host. Just a quick reminder that if you had any questions that's not relevant to today's topic, always feel free to reach out to your onboarder if you are still in your onboarding session, or to your customer success manager. You can also access our AI chat as well as the academy, and also look through our webinars page. We will be putting the recorded version of this webinar on our More Resources page, where you can find a link to the registration page, as well as if you want to refer back to any of the topics covered and explanations provided today. This is also where you can actually find all our past webinars on a vast range of prospect CRM topics and workflows. So yeah, thank you again for attending, and we wish you a great rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.